It can be tough to juggle college, job, and life with MMA training, and you need to be really good at time management to be able to make all of that happen. So, how do you do it without losing your mind? Coming up. If you want to master MMA fundamentals, check out my instructional called MMA Essential Lessons. In it you can learn about clinch takedowns, boxing, grappling, Muay Thai, ground and pound, Thai and puppet master clinch, escapes from inferior positions, and shooting takedowns. Check out the link in the description below. Today I'll show you how to best organize your MMA training schedule, keep your sanity, your health, and your social life. Tip number 1 is that you can't train all of the arts. This means that if MMA is not your full-time job, and for most fighters it is not, it is difficult to train everything. Meaning BJJ, Muay Thai, boxing, wrestling, and MMA classes in 1 week. Something's gotta give. I suggest having 2 to 3 MMA classes per week and a few other arts to supplement your MMA training. For example, 2 times a week BJJ and 1 to 2 times a week Muay Thai. Stick to that regimen for a couple of months. Would it be good to train boxing and wrestling also? Of course it would, but you don't have the time since you're maybe working or going to college. So be realistic and train as much as you can, but no more. You might not be doing pure boxing, but you will still be learning how to use your hands in MMA and Muay Thai classes. You might not be training pure wrestling, but you will be learning takedowns in BJJ and MMA classes. So you will cover all aspects. You could change up your regimen in a couple of months. Tip number 2 is get enough sleep. Many think that they can do more in a day if they sleep less. If you're one of those people, then you will quickly learn that that is not the case. Lack of sleep can cost you a lot, and it's one of the things that I talked about in this video. Go ahead and check it out. Sure, there are people that need a lot less sleep than most of us, but they are few and far in between, and they are like that genetically. One of the problems is that we live in a culture that often treats sleep as weakness and people who forego sleep as tough go-getters, while the rest of us are labeled as lazy. Most of us need 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. When we train hard, we need even more sleep. When I trained hard several times per day, I slept 7 to 8 hours during the night and had 1 hour nap in the afternoon. And if I had a 6 hour of sleep per night for a couple of days, I either got sick on the 3rd day or I had a herpes outbreak, which is a sign of a compromised immunity. That happened without fail. And that's the least that can happen. Tip number 3 is that it will take time, so be patient. This is a short one, but it's important. Even if you have the best MMA training schedule, the progress will not happen overnight, so be patient and give it time. Today, when everything is just 1 click away and when young people are used to getting instant access to anything, patience is a scarce commodity. Everything that is worth something will require patience and time. MMA is no different. Tip number 4 is to evaluate if you're training with the wrong people. There are so many factors that determine if you're going to be successful in MMA or not. Your training regimen is just one of them. Another is whether you're training with the right people. Did you find the best coaches in your area? Are you in a friendly environment that fosters learning and progress, or is it kill or be killed gym? Does your coach pay attention to you, or are you being neglected? If the answer to all of these questions is no, you might want to change gyms. Tip number 5 is to travel to find better training. This will tie in nicely with the previous tip. If you cannot find an adequate gym in your hometown, be prepared to travel if possible. Yes, it is a hassle, but it will be worth it. I used to travel 90 kilometers 2 times per week to a nearby town in order to get Muay Thai lessons because my hometown didn't have a proper Muay Thai academy at the time. Even if you cannot travel frequently, it is much better to have 1 training per week in a stimulating environment and trained by an expert than multiple times per week with a mediocre coach. And you can use the time that would otherwise be wasted in travel by reading or listening to an audiobook. Tip number 6 is to have a day off. Make sure that you have at least 1 day off if possible. No training that day and no work.
I'm taking the day off. Now get dressed and come on over.
You need to recharge the batteries. This doesn't mean lying in bed all day and binge watching Netflix. I recommend going out for walks and doing something fun like riding a bicycle, hiking, swimming, or just meet up with friends. Resting doesn't mean rusting in bed or on the couch. My day off was Sunday, and whenever I stayed in bed too much, Monday training didn't feel good and I needed a day or two to get back into the groove. If I had an active rest, then Mondays were much easier. Tip number 7 is to skip on workouts if necessary. If you feel you're going to get sick or you're extremely tired, skip 1 or 2 training sessions. It might sound like I'm talking you into being a slacker, but it's not like that. I've trained sick, with fever, injured, and with a herpes outbreak, which was both selfish and stupid, and I highly advise against training in any of those states. Your goal is the success in competition, mastery of your art, or both. That sometimes means that you need to regroup and allow your body and immunity to recover. So don't think short term but long term. So skip 1 training or train extremely lightly. Maybe stretch only or do 1 to 2 rounds of light bag work. Help your body. Don't be like me and destroy it. The trick is to recognize when your body really needs rest and when you're just feeling sore. There are methods like using polar watches to measure the morning heart rate to determine how you should train that day. But most people never use them and rely on their feeling. I never use them, but maybe I should have. That might be an interesting subject for another video.
Many MMA champions use ground and pound as their go-to strategy. If you want to learn how to do it properly, check out my Total Ground and Pound Blueprint instructional. The link is in the description.
How does your MMA training schedule look like? Do you get enough sleep, and how do you handle your obligations with training? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, like it and share it, and you can also subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like a more in-depth MMA training, check out my instructionals. My name is Mark Leichner from MMAcoach.net, and I will see you again very soon.